Okay, the teachers' unions in Chicago's go on strike. What's the deal with this? I'm going to break this down. Is this a good thing for the educational system or a bad thing? Is Rahm Emanuel trying to help the kids or he's trying to help himself? I heard two very different perspectives in this in Chicago. Well, to break it down, first off, the National Federation of Teachers and the National Education Association has agreed that the Chicago teachers unions should go on strike. And basically, it's not really about money. It is a little bit, but they've already agreed on that, and they've already gave in. But Rahm Emanuel will not cave on two basic points. The first being the test scores of the students be tied into teachers' evaluations. And basically, that's before they get their tenure, they have to have high evaluation points. And if they don't, they can't get tenure, so they can get fired. The second is that private companies, or as we know them, charter schools, get involved with failing schools. So basically, it's a public school, but a company is actually getting involved in it, and only with failing schools. Now, here's my thing about that. This is kind of like a mini, like Ron Paul. Like if Ron Paul was running the education system in Chicago, it sounds like this is something he would do. And this is one of the points where I kind of, I don't know, I have to ask myself a couple of questions. But at the same time, there is a $700 million deficit. And test scores have been going down in Chicago. So something does need to be done about the system. Somebody does need to be held accountable. And they're holding principals accountable, but they can't fire teachers. That's what the principals are saying. You can't hold us accountable if we can't fire the teachers. It's not on us, it's on the teachers. Now, should principals be able to fire teachers? That's what this strike is about. Okay? Now, basically, just putting money into a system will not increase the education score, because every year money has gone into the system, but every year test scores seem to be going down. What do? Do teachers need to be evaluated differently? The system hasn't changed in almost 40 years. And it's the first time in 25 years that the teachers have gone on strike. So do we need to start bringing these test scores into their evaluation? If you can have a 90% failure rate, can you go in any other field and keep your job? And not only that, get up to 30% raise every year. The average teacher's salary in Chicago is $76,000 a year. They only work half the year and get major holidays off, and a 2-week vacation in December. Is this fair? Is this just? I don't know. You guys tell me. Also, they also want a pay raise, too, in a recession. Should they be getting a pay raise when the Chicago's test scores have been going down? Should we give them a raise and offer job securities and smaller classrooms? None of this is about the kids. It seems it's all about the teachers, all about the unions. But tying this into the Obama race, Rahm Emanuel was actually Obama's chief of staff. So a lot of people say he got kicked out for his tactics. A lot of times he did like sending horse heads to people. A lot of people don't know this, but in Chicago this is common knowledge. So if you're watching this video, this may seem absurd to you, but if you're a Chicago citizen, you know exactly what I mean. He was more of a threatening type person, and Obama, he got him in, he got him elected. But a lot of the things he did to get Obama elected were borderline illegal. So Obama had to distance himself from Rahm Emanuel. But he said, but you did take care of me. So basically, I'm going to make sure you're the mayor of Chicago. I'm going to look out for you that way. But at the same time, he did do a lot of cutthroat things. So a lot of the teachers are saying, if we go with this teachers union where basically you guys are, charter schools that are taking over, Rahm Emanuel in his cutthroat ways are going to be taking over the school system in his mob-like ways. We don't want that in our schools. We want to keep the mob out of our schools. That's what they're protesting. That's what they're saying. Not saying I agree with that. Not saying I know about that. But, you know, I interviewed a couple of teachers. That's basically the mentality. We don't want Emanuel running the schools. He's all about certain type of people. Now, is he being more like Mitt Romney with this, saying it's for the school and for the kids, and he's going to, once he gets in there, he's going to sell out the schools like they did to our parking meters? They sold our parking meters in Chicago, if you don't know, for a couple of $2 billion. So parking prices went up. iPass to go on the highway costs up to $2 if you don't have an iPass. So they're selling a lot of things in Chicago to park. A lot of people don't even have parking driveways. To park on a Chicago street costs 50 cents for 15 minutes. And you have to have that meter, that little sticker in your window. If you don't, you get a ticket and you're paying a private company. It's not an ordinance in Chicago. It's a private company that's benefiting from that. So a lot of people are saying this will be the same thing where the cost of education will rise, but the benefits won't. And what do you guys think? The other thing is, another parallel issue with this is a lot of, especially black children in Chicago, have been written off as special education. Because as we know, special ed kids get almost $40,000 per student, whereas a regular student might only get $4,000 per student of federal funding. So the more people they say, hey, your kid is special ed, hey, this kid is bad, he's automatically special ed, just so they can get more money in the school. So if it's a business is more likely to do that. And that affects me personally because when I was younger, they tried to say I was really bad or I was a know-it-all, I was a smart aleck, but I always got all A's, so they couldn't really put me in special ed. But they tried to many times, so this affects me too. That's why I'm watching this. And I really don't take a side with this. I'm really right on the middle because on one hand, you do have a several $100 million deficit. You got these unions that have too much power and a president that can't even get involved because he needs support from the unions to get reelected. But then you also have a mayor that's a little iffy too, and he might have an ulterior motive himself. And this could be like what happened in D.C. with Michelle Rhee when she actually gave the teachers a choice. She said either you could, and the way she did it was she gave them a choice. Either you can sign this contract and you can make $120,000 a year, but you can also get fired too if your test scores aren't looking right or if you're not evaluated correctly. About 70% of the teachers signed that thinking they were going to, hey, I'm a good teacher, I get a raise. And about 60% of them got fired within 3 months. So they know that's what's going to happen in Chicago too. It happened in D.C. and now it's Chicago. But we do need, one thing I will agree on, we do need change. We do need to revamp the system. Is this the answer? I'm not sure. You guys comment. You tell me. If I was wrong about anything, correct me. Let me know. Let's talk about this. This is a really personal subject with me. So you guys let me know. You guys take it easy.